Hello, hello, and hello.
It's Saturday night, but it's not Friday night. But we're still by the fire. Hey, we're Gerald and Yvette Benton.
I'm Gerald and Yvette Ministries.
GeraldandYvette.com. So this time it means you have to come in. Thank you for those who watch on replay. We absolutely love and appreciate you. And even if you're watching on replay, we're always thankful if you would forward and like and share and all that good stuff.
All that good stuff.
All the good stuff is always happening. We're thrilled that you are with us. Sometimes we do Friday, sometimes we do Saturday, and we just want to make sure everybody knows we're on. So you should be putting on your notifications, all of that, to be with us when we have a new
Saturday, Friday, any day by the fire.
Fire. We could be doing something new.
It's just by the fire. Conversation by the fire.
I like it.
Just a comment. Now we're not locked in on a date.
Yeah.
So we can pop in on any given date. You just need your notifications on.
I like that.
So you can catch conversation. Hot topic.
Hot topics. Hot conversation by the fire. Ooh.
Jim presents
Hot
conversations
by the fire.
Oh, we just rocked another one.
Y'all just was right there with us.
That?
Y'all right there with us. Did you get it? I think. What do y'all think? I mean, those of you who have been on for a while, you get it. You get it. Because if we can do it on Friday, we do it on Friday. If we do it on Saturday, we do it on Saturday. I mean, we got to shift some things.
I like that.
You like it?
I like that.
Yeah. Fiery topics in marriage.
I
don't know. Hot topics. Fiery. I like fiery. Jim presents fiery topics in marriage by the fire. Just skip the marriage. Just fiery topics.
Yeah.
It just might be fiery topics.
It might just be fiery topics.
Let's just do it.
It might just be fiery topics.
Oh, I know.
I know Jim is known for the marriage stuff, but we're talking about fiery topics. That's just
I love it.
Across the board.
Hey,
how about that?
I love it.
But tonight.
Okay, come on now.
Tonight, role reversal in the marriage.
Ooh.
What? Hello.
And that's fiery.
Hello.
Yeah, I think that's important because we know what a big deal this is. But before we get started,
we got something for you.
Marriage works
if you work it. Oh, yeah. Marriage works if you work it. Marriage works if you work it.
Marriage works if you work it. Are you singing?
Marriage works if you work it. Marriage works if you work it. Marriage works if you work it. Marriage works if you work it.
Did you hear the jingle? Did you get it in your mind before we start? Because sometimes when you talk about fiery topics, you got to loosen up first. I know we will do it at the end because that's fun. But sometimes you got to... take a deep breath.
Yeah.
We do that.
Yeah.
Let's calm down for a minute and come back to this fiery topic.
Yes. It's fiery.
This one, we know a lot about.
A lot.
A whole lot.
A whole lot.
I don't think we've done a lot of teaching on this topic.
I don't think so.
And you know what? This might be a part 1 or part 2 or something because we know a lot about this topic. So role reversal in marriage. We were the king and queen of role reversal. And let me tell you what's really the devil. Like it took us years to realize how demonic it was. We liked it.
Because we were flowing in it.
I mean, the one thing we did real well is role reversal. We had that thing down to a whole science. and bragged about it. Yeah. we bragged about it because I am accomplished, and it's not a bragging kind of situation. When we entered into our marriage, I had already had a career, my several college degrees, moving up in my career, was making my own money, built a house, had a nice vehicle. Does that sound familiar to a lot of people, right? So I already had a lot established. Yeah. Right?
You did.
And it wasn't a bad thing. And I had worked really hard, like no joke. I worked really hard for what I had. And I was strong. I was accomplished. I was doing what I knew how to do.
And you was doing it well.
Thank you.
And I was opposite.
And then along came my husband.
I was opposite. I made declarations and vows of finding somebody that was going to actually take care of me. And I literally found somebody that was taking care of me.
But I want to be clear. He didn't make like this announcement. I want to get married and you take it. Wasn't like that.
I made my own vow. I wasn't gonna go out and just tell you.
But some people do.
That wasn't me.
I wanted to clarify that wasn't. Oh. It wasn't that we got married and said we're gonna we're gonna have role reversal. We didn't do that on purpose.
No, we didn't. But because you were accomplished and you were doing what you were doing and you really didn't need anybody. Yeah. And I came in, didn't have something and it needed somebody. And so it kind of
fell in place.
Yeah.
Without trying.
Because you kind of can realize that, dude, you're not really wanting to do anything, but I'm gonna do what I do, and I'm gonna do what I do very well. And I'm gonna have to compensate for what you're not able to do. Yeah. And then it became, okay, well, you do this around the house, or you just do what you can do, or you just just be that.
Well, because a lot of times
I was comfortable
people will get into situations, and although I wanted him to do more than he did, I was already in a routine of things. Like I already could take care of the whole house. Mm-hmm. I had a house. I could take care of myself. I could pay all my bills. I could. So it wasn't that I didn't want someone to help me. I honestly didn't need anyone to help me. And what I learned later, so this is part of what we're going to talk about. What I learned later is that men, even if they think they don't want it, need to be needed. And it started crushing us because I was like, do you want to do this or can you do that? And he would do it. And to be honest, he wouldn't do it as well as I did because he didn't have as much experience.
Right.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
So bill paying and routine with children and handling business, I knew how to do it and did it well. And when he tried it, it didn't work out. Or he'd say, you go ahead. You already have a way of doing it. And it just happened.
It was the failing part, the not being successful.
All right.
And so something that you're not being successful in and someone is good at it, you just assume that, okay, well, I'm not good at that. You can just go ahead and do it. But over a time period, it became more and more and more. I'm not able to do stuff. Now it comes with self-esteem. Now it comes with the mindset of you can't failure. And now you get to this place where I'm less than. And then you read a scripture that says, if a man don't work, man don't eat. Or a man doesn't take care of his family is lower than infidel. So you start reading these scriptures and you realizing you're not doing what you're actually supposed to be doing, right? Or even having the capability of doing it, because you don't have the practice of actually being able to do these things. And so the constant failure in lights being turned off, not paying the mortgage, not doing this, not keeping a job. All of these things start playing up in a role that now it's like, okay, I'm gonna just sit back and I'm gonna let you handle things, and you were comfortable in handling things and allowed me to do the things that I was comfortable and was able to actually do. But what it was actually doing was handicapping me, and it was now solidifying you in a head of the house relationship, or head of the house
Position.
and position, and me being in a different position. And so it wasn't what God intended for a marriage to actually be. But because we were comfortable in what we were doing and how we were doing it, we didn't we didn't pay attention to it for a long period of time because it was actually working. But then again, it was actually working against us,
Yeah.
because I was going into a different place. I thought I was feeling comfortable with doing it. I thought it was good for me. I thought all of that. But then when a time when you have to, you start looking at a scripture, and the scripture says this, and the scripture says you're supposed to be this. And now realizing it's a problem.
Yeah, I think that we started working it out, and when, like with any couple, you do this and I do that. You do this and I'll take care of this. I'm better at this. I'm better. We just flushed it out, and most of the things that I was strong in was leading.
Yeah.
So I picked up all the decision making. I picked up all of the what people would consider the male or the headship of the relationship and the household. And because we were comfortable with it,
Yeah.
we had made an open decision to do it. We didn't realize we literally opened the door to the enemy and created an environment that was not godly. Although we were saved, although we were going to church, we just felt like it worked. And this is really a conversation about doing something that seems good, but it's not God.
Come on.
Just because it worked, just because we felt like we liked it, just because we didn't argue about it, doesn't mean it was godly. Because now we understand spiritual warfare so much that we realize we opened the door to the enemy because we were out of order. Mm-hmm. And once we got out of order and continued to be out of order, then more and more of the demonic assignments set in. So those assignments to attack your manhood, your self-esteem, mm-hmm. hit harder and harder and harder every couple of months, and I'm not realizing how to counteract it because I didn't realize there was a problem. Honestly, until it got really bad, I don't think you realized it was a problem.
No, and until you like I said, until you start, your eyes are open to it, and understanding. You know, one point when you were like still excelling in ministry, excelling in your career, and mine wasn't, and so job changing and all of this stuff, and then messing up a lot of the responsibilities in a home, and that all of this stuff start playing on my mental. It started affecting me in a place where depression was kicking in.
Yeah.
Because the constant failure, the constant feeling like I'm not, and that's kind of probably where I just figured the fault finding every time we had a conversation about why something isn't being done, or why didn't this be paid, or why couldn't you have done this. Then it became, in my mind, it started becoming fault finding. And so that's when the light was being turned on. It's like, you're falling down a bad road, and you thinking that it was good, but this part is going to a place of depression. And I understand where depression kicks in. So then it becomes the drugs, it becomes the alcohol, it becomes all of these different habits that was happening.
Yeah.
Because of some stuff, what we thought was good. And
right.
Now because of it, the constant failure, because I wasn't able to do, literally wasn't able to do that stuff. pay bills. Like being able to pay a bill. I thought about it when I didn't have to pay a bill literally until I got married.
So I think that's important for people to know, especially if you're either new to our testimony or new to our channel. You grew up without really a lot of parenting. Yeah. So in his situation, and we're not saying everybody falls into this situation, but many do. And in his situation, he was raised by his grandmother. So his mother and his father weren't really there on an ongoing basis in order to teach him things, to train him in things, or even for him to be a part of that conversation. Like, although my parents didn't ever sit down, they didn't ever sit down and say, this is how you pay a bill. I heard them talk about it. I saw the bills. We had conversations, even if some things like, woo, time to pay this. And oh yeah, we got to make sure we have enough of that. You know, there were conversations that happened in my household. So I grew up having those experiences. So it just was natural for me. And then unfortunately, before I understood the helpmeet role, then my mindset was, well, duh, what's wrong with you? You're an adult. Why don't you know how to do it? So instead of you saying, I don't know how to do it, and maybe asking questions, I didn't create the type of atmosphere where you felt comfortable asking. So you would try to do something.
Well, pride will kick in and say, I can do that.
Yeah.
Because who wants to say that they can't do something?
Or they don't know how.
Or they don't know how to do something.
Yep.
And like you said, I didn't learn that stuff. I went to college, I didn't have to pay bills because I was on scholarship. They took care of all of that. When I stopped playing, I was living with someone that took care of all of that. So never ever having the responsibility of doing it, mentally thinking that that's just how it's supposed to be.
Right.
And so I literally said that, and then ended up marrying my wife. And it was literally flowing in that way until the wake up. It's like, this is not the way this is supposed to go. Once I started reading scripture, once I started hearing, people preach on these words and say some of these things, I'm like, is that really true? That if man don't work, a man he can't eat if he doesn't provide for his families. I started looking at these things and like, oh, wow, this scripture is actually saying this. And that started, I tried to ignore it. I really did.
Yeah.
I really try to ignore it.
Sure.
And like, man, we got this. We good. I'm trying to
which is really where our problem started.
Right. Yeah. So I'm just trying to make sure we good. Because you doing what you doing, you handling things, you taking care of business. And I'm like, okay, I stay home and I cook. Or I stay home with you. And then we had our daughter. So me being home was a plus.
Right.
Because she was a preemie with it. I mean, God. Now I still think about
it's set up.
It was a set up.
It's a whole setup.
That was a whole setup.
So our daughter was born and she was only 3 pounds, and I made the most money. Plus, I am not cut out for that stay at home anyway. And so my job was available for me to go right back into and make some money. So his decision was, you know what? We don't want our 3-pound child going to daycare. And to be honest, and I know people are going to be like, I can't believe it, but I was like, she got to go somewhere because I'm not staying home. Like, I wasn't a helpmeet at the time. I didn't understand. I was supposed to, follow my king. But number one, bills had to be paid, and I'm a worker. Like, I wasn't trying to stay home with a child. Lord Jesus, like the whole maternity leave was enough, but just stay there and just no. So I went back to work, and he was like, well, I'll just take care of her. So he did. And we're not knocking people who make this work, role reversal. We're just giving our testimony. Let me clarify something. But when we saw the scriptures about the roles, what started happening is I started getting convicted first. And I started saying, oh, okay, let's just switch the roles. And at first he was like, oh, yeah, okay. What happened? It fell apart.
Dropping the ball.
So now I'm like, you said you were gonna. I did. No, you didn't. Yes, I did. And it did not work out well.
Like, come home, lights off.
Jesus.
come home, water turned off. We got to go to her mama's house and come around, and the mortgage ain't being paid. And it was those things that I was not actually used to.
Right.
And now looking back at it, I wasn't really trying to learn them, because if I was trying to learn them, I would have been asking questions. And because I didn't ask questions, I was just feeling like I can do it because I'm an adult. I should be able to do it. I can figure this thing out. And that was pride. And pride was literally taking me down a really, really bad road to a place where I just didn't I didn't know it. It wasn't taught to me. I didn't understand it. And I didn't have a grasp of what I was supposed to be doing as a husband, even as a provider for my family. It wasn't good. And so now I'm sitting here looking at this role. I'm like, okay, how do I get ahead? I mean,
right.
And it just seems like you were just steadily going, how am I going to catch a person that's on a fast track? And I'm at the bottom.
Right.
How am I going to catch her career-wise? How am I going to catch her spiritually? How am I going to catch her financially? How am I going to catch any of that when she's on a fast track and it didn't look like you were slowing down? And you weren't. And so now I'm angry. Because I'm not good at what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm angry at how your career is exploding, how you keep being elevated in ministry and elevated in the school system. Now I'm angry because I'm not feeling like I'm not capable of actually doing something. So now we're talking about something that we thought was good now has literally tearing our house apart because I didn't know.
And can I also say, for people that are watching, on the surface and even in his heart, he was happy for me. Like, this was before we really broke up and separated. Yeah. And I believe in your heart, you really were happy for me. It wasn't you were
no
mad.
Doubt.
He was
I was happy for you.
But it opened the door for Satan. She's thinking this. You're not able to do that. What I know now to be openings of warfare, Satan had a field day with his heart, torturing his mind. And so it stirred up this strife and bitterness between us because I'm trying to figure out how to get into my role. He's trying to figure out how to get into his role. And we just kept opening the door. Now, let me just paint a picture. This is the type of scenario. It's not the only scenario, but it's the type of scenario that causes affairs, that causes problems with addictions, and that causes mental illness. Those are the type, when perversion sets in, it's because a lot of times it's because you go home and there's frustration, or you go home and you don't feel good about yourself. I'm just sharing. You go home and there's arguments. So when you talk to a person on your job and they're not arguing, it opens the door. When you go home, when you think about home and it seems chaotic and you have struggles with addiction, you rather get high, you rather get a drink before you get home because you don't want to deal with all the stuff that's happening. You don't want to deal with talking about the bills. You don't want to admit that something you did either was going to be ridiculed or evaluated. So when God finally got a hold of me, I wasn't understanding. He said, if you don't understand what he's going through in his mind, you're going to just ask a simple question and it's going to be felt. How he feels about it is going to be detrimental. Now, it may not seem like that's fair, but it's what happened to us. Like, I couldn't ask a simple question like, so I meant it well, and oh my Lord, the blow up. Well, now this was before I knew how to be a help me. Let me just say, you blow up at me, I'm coming for you. My old me, see, some of y'all don't know, the old me, I can't say everybody, I don't wake up a help me, I put help me on. I have to put that on every day. Like in my mind, I got to pull down the stronghold of who are you talking to? Let's really clarify something. And I just rose up so the role reversal stayed because I got it. Now, this is before I'm delivered. I got the money. This house was here before you. Those cars we drive, You can't pay for them. I pay for them. So my mind was out of order.
Yeah.
So I started behaving because he was getting frustrated. I didn't understand why he was frustrated. I didn't understand what he was going through. He didn't understand it either, so he couldn't articulate it. So all of a sudden, you acting mean to me. And guess what? In my opinion, you should have been like grateful. I'm literally paying your whole life. Them clothes you got on, you want to talk to some other woman, but the clothes you got on, the car you driving, like that stuff didn't make sense to me. So I had to get some serious understanding and revelation. A lot of where my help me mindset came from. I had to undo the mindset. God said, you are an administrator out there. You're somebody's boss out there. But when you come in the house, you're not his boss. I gave you that house. Like he was like, let's clarify something. Let me strip you of all the stuff that Satan is using you against him. You didn't buy that house. I opened the door for you to get a job. I opened the door for you to get promotions. I gave you favor. I gave you a gift. Like he shut me all the way down. Like you didn't do anything. I provided that. So don't use that against my son. Because just as fast as I open the door, I can close it, and then you won't have those things either. So I want you, he was really humbling me so that I understood. He was like, get into your place. I don't care how much money you make. So I also want to say role reversal is not about the amount of money you make. It's about the mindset of who is the head of the house. I don't care if he never made $1. He's still the head of the house. And that was hard for me to understand at first, but God was so clear with me. So clear. We talk about divine order. God was like, I don't care what's going on. My word is my word.
And it's going to always be his word. But when you were just talking about being in this place of I make the money I do. Now, here's when these conversations started happening that I was hearing the fault finding. I was hearing her feel like she was saying, I'm less than, or I'm not good enough, or I'm worthless. She didn't say none of these words. But in my mind, when she opened her mouth, that's what I was hearing.
Right.
That you're not good enough. This is not going to work. I was hearing all of these things. So in my mind, I started checking out.
Right.
So when I started checking out of everything. And so now we're talking about a role reversal. If I'm checking out of a situation, now you having to pick up a situation and pick it up more.
Right.
By default, I'm out of place.
Yeah. Yeah.
By default, a lot of men become out of place when it comes to being in this place because we go to thinking that I have to make a certain amount of money. I have to be this. I have to have that. Because the society tells it, say, this is what you got to have. You better have a 5-year plan. I'm not saying it ain't good, but if that's your basis on everything, then what happens when you get into a situation and the person doesn't have that?
Right.
And now it's a place where it has to be learned and taught and cultivated because this thing wasn't something that happened overnight. It had to be learned and cultivated. It had to be cheerleaded. She had to be a cheerleader. She had to coach me through the failures, coach me through the mindset of feeling less than, because over the years, my self-esteem, my self-worth was diminished.
Yeah.
It was diminished because I wanted to be able to be a provider, a head, or do all of this stuff. And over the years of the turnaround in my mind, I'm thinking, how do I catch up? How do I catch up? And so in the midst of a desire for God to help me to understand how to be a father, how to be a husband, how to be a father. See, a lot of this stuff, men, we start wrong by becoming fathers before we become husbands.
Jesus.
We've done it out of order already.
Jesus.
And so you already in a place where you want to catch up. Now it's like I got baby mamas, but not a wife that I'm now being able to work life with, work marriage with. And so he took me back through all of that stuff. And the things that I didn't know, I didn't understand, I wasn't taught, I wasn't this. And he was like, that does not stop you from being a husband. It doesn't stop you from being a father. If you desire to want to be in the right place, then it's going to take a different mindset. It's going to take work in your work ethic. It's going to take work in your heart that you'll be able to understand that you won't quit in the midst of the go through, because you're going to have to go through it. You're going to have to work your way through it. And it's not going to feel good. It's not going to be nice. It's not going to be pretty, because you're going to have to literally work overtime for this.
Come on.
And so I had to be willing to work overtime because I really didn't have a work ethic. So that's why he had to tell me that. Because if I wanted my marriage, I was going to have to work harder at it. If I wanted my relationship with my wife to be better, I was going to have to work harder at it. If I wanted to be manage my home, I had to work hard at it. I had to be willing to diligently ask questions for things I didn't know. And so here's the thing: men have a problem with asking for help for things that they feel like the society say you should know. But if you just don't know, then you gotta ask the question to figure it out. So the enemy wants you to keep your mouth shut, or want you to be in pride and I'm gonna figure this out on my own. I still do that a lot. I'm gonna figure this out on my own. And God had already told me there's absolutely nothing you're gonna be able to do in business, ministry, and marriage without her. You're going to have to understand how to ask questions, how to come in agreement with certain things on how to all things. Come in agreement on all things regarding to you guys' union. Anything that you put in your hands to, anything you put in your mind to, anything you put in your heart to, I need you to be in agreement. So there's questions that's going to be asked. And so now it took me a long time just to get to, I don't even think I'm there. I have a long way to go, but I took some major strides because I told myself I'll be a forever learner. I have to learn certain things. I have to learn certain habits. I have to learn certain techniques. I have to learn these things because it's something that I desire to do now. I desire to do that. I desire to be the head of my house. I desire to be the leader of my home. And so there's things when people say, well, you want to, the society will say, well, you got to be provider. You got to make this money. You got to be able to do this and do this and do this. But God says, ask me, well, how often do you understand a prayer? I ask men all the time. There's things that you can do if you're not working. Are you leading your home in prayer? Are you representing? Are you bringing the situations to God in prayer? Are you asking your children, what can I pray for you? Will they know you as a praying father? Will they know you as a father that speaks and they praise? Will your wife know that you are a man that desires to pray for her and speak words over her? Because there's things that we can do that don't take money.
Right. And those things can set you up for the other things.
Right.
But
seek ye first the kingdom.
Right. But it takes time. I wanna highlight the scripture because we referenced it but didn't tell you what it was. So one of the scriptures that really pulled us where we realized we've opened the door to the enemy and now we've got an issue. Now it didn't happen overnight. In fact, it's the reason why we separated. It's one of the main reasons we opened the door and separation became what happened. But 1 Timothy 5:8 says, and this is the Amplified Classic, it says, if anyone fails to provide for his relatives. Now, I want to read it out of the King James because that's where we heard it first, and talks about it differently. It says, but if any provide not for his own, and specially for those of his own house, he hath denied the faith and is worse than an infidel. And that means you're basically worse than an unsaved person. So you're worse than an unbeliever if you're not a provider. So, and providing can be done different ways. So again, we're not just talking about whether someone has the money. He didn't even have the mindset of a leader at the time. He didn't have the mindset of a head. And I didn't have the mindset of a follower, nor did I have a mindset that I wasn't the head. In my mind, our roles were reversed. And because our roles were reversed and we embraced it, we opened the door for the enemy. Because people would talk to us about it and we would say, it's good over here. It works for us. Don't bother us. You know, I had men that would say, are you the main provider? Look, what is happening in your house? It works for me. Don't you worry about it. Or men would say stuff to you and you'd be like, hey, it works. Well, it works for us. But it wasn't working because under the surface, we gave Satan an open door. Behind the surface, we gave Satan all this room. And so God said, in terms of my part, you don't create an atmosphere that's conducive for him to lead. And so it's adding to the issue. Now, at that time, he didn't care. Like, I'm out. Once we separated, what really was bad was we separated and I became the head again. So look at Satan.
Default.
Loving this concept, I started leading fully because who had to kick into gear with the children? Who had to kick into gear with the whole household? Who had to kick into gear even more with the finances? Me. So because I was left with the bills undone, the children, the chaos, he just kind of walked away. So when I had to do that, I became even more of a leader, even more in my mindset of a head. So our first separation, I was like, okay, I'm going to rearrange this house. I'm going to rearrange all the bills. I'm going to the bank and taking them off all the account. I mean, I just kicked into admin gear, I'm going to take care of myself. I can do bad all by myself. I don't need a man. I kicked into all of that. So when we tried to reconcile the first time, I was like, here are my provisions. if you come back, you can't have this. Because I don't want to go through all it. I didn't mean it in a bad way. I just was like, I'm not opening this account back to you. I'm not going to be doing all this stuff because this is in my mind. If you act up, I'm not going to go through all this stuff to shift again. You just move out again and I got everything taken care of. Like, you're not coming on these accounts. You're not getting you're not doing anything. You do you, I'll do me, and we'll try to make this work. I had all these provisions that he had to make. And when I got delivered, God was like, and what you're gonna do is these stipulations, they're out of order. I was like, I'm just protecting myself. Like, what? I protect you. You don't do that. I said, and I'm like, God, you know he's gonna mess up the money. You know he's gonna mess up all the stuff. I know good and well, you know, he's gonna mess up everything. And do you know, I almost wanted God to say, no, he's not. That's what I wanted God to say. No, he's not. I'm gonna do this. He said, and if he does, I'll give it to you again. I was like, that basically means you already know stuff's gonna get all messed up.
Yeah.
He did not promise me this was not going to be what he said was, how did you get it in the first place? Right. I'm your provider.
Right.
I'll heal you if he hurts you.
Right.
He didn't say he's not going to hurt you anymore.
Right.
He didn't say y'all not going to go into foreclosure anymore. Life, I know a lot of times people get frustrated when we're truthful, but life got like hell when I was the most delivered. When I started getting delivered and started operating as a help me, our entire life got worse because I was accommodating. And to be honest, he was having his cake and eating it too. And I hear that with people we counsel and coach and mentor. They're like, he'll never change because I'm over here giving him life and it more abundantly. Like it's he coming in and coming and going, spending money like crazy, overdraft for a candy bar. Like we just paid $30 for a candy bar. Why did you get Coke and a chip and write a check and overdraft the account? And now we got overdraft fees of $30 for a Coke and a smile. Like, what is going on? But those kinds of things were real for us.
It was really.
I mean, we went through. I'm trying to make ends meet, and you got, when I say the overdraft amounts of money, just because he didn't know how to operate in an account, and instead of asking, I got a check, so therefore I got money. So let me just give. Hey, want a check? You can have a check. You can have a check. You can have a check. And we can laugh about it now, but it was horrible for me. Like, I'm scared to look at our account because I can't keep up. Like, I made enough money for us to make it, but I didn't make enough money for us to have like overdraft and late fees. And did you go down there and pay the water bill? I handed you the money, but you forgot. So now it's got overdraft, and now we got to turn it back on because it got turned off because you left the bill in the car. Like, I gave you the money. You couldn't just take it down there. I forgot. I'll do it later. Later became next week, and then lights are off. So, when you have to put the lights back on, you're paying more. So we were running out of money, not even because we couldn't afford it, but because of things like late fees. But what Satan was doing was he was causing this horrible attitude. So neither one of us wanted the relationship.
Nope.
So then let's break up again. Because again, I can do better. When I say God started working on me and he said, you have to create an atmosphere where he's comfortable asking questions. You got to create an atmosphere where he trusts you enough you to be the person who he knows how to do it. But you're willing to, if you are going to explain it with honor and respect.
Yeah.
If you're going to ask questions.
Hold up.
Yes,
sorry.
sir.
I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Repeat that one again.
If you're going, am I not doing a good job?
No, you did. I just need.
You want people to hear it? Oh, I thought, I didn't do good on that.
No, you did good.
If you're gonna teach something,
yeah,
teach it with honor and respect.
Yeah, see. That's when the things start changing. Cause before I just felt like, cause you was using the finger.
Yeah,
you was like gangster. I mean, boy, you used to point up when you did that. Don't put your finger up. I'll make sure I'm delivered.
I'm not dying.
Listen. That part there.
Yeah.
When I say that part, because you don't understand what really is going on in the mind of the man.
I didn't.
Just, you cannot understand unless they verbally tell you what is going on in their mind. Mm-hmm. You might even ask the question, what is going on with you? You probably have asked the question.
Yeah, I did.
And they have absolutely no clue.
Or they don't know how to articulate it.
Okay, put it that way. They have a clue
sometimes,
but they don't know how to articulate it because it's all jumbled up in their mind. It's just words jumbled up, actions or feelings all jumbled up, and not knowing how to articulate how they feel or articulate what they're thinking. Or that was the kicker, because the enemy was saying something else. It's like when you actually say something nice or whatever, I was hearing something different. I was hearing the fault finding and all of that, because it was so long or so much of it.
Yes,
I couldn't even hear the understanding of when you was honoring or speaking, honoring and trying to teach and show me with respect. I couldn't even receive it because I was so on guard. I was so tensed and tight to a place where if you open your mouth about something, I wasn't ready to hear it. I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want, because my mind was, I'm not doing something. I can't do it. I ain't learned how to do it, or I'm the fault for it. And so that was, it was crazy. But when over a period of time,
that's the key.
Over a period of time,
that's the key.
You start, as you was speaking to me with respect, and now those are the things that was like a hammer beating down the wall, and now it was like I was able to actually hear something different, like hear something that was encouraging, hear something that was edifying. It was like building me up. Now I still had my guard up because I didn't know if it was going to be consistent. I didn't know if it was going to be true. I didn't know if it was true. So I had to weigh it. Weigh if I'm hearing this right, or hear, or I want to hear this, or I want to have this conversation. And that's when God told me when I get ready to have a conversation with you, to hear the heart.
Right.
And so he gave me a strategy to hear the heart of what she was saying, and not just the words, because if I was going to hear words, I was going to go into the offense mode.
Right.
And so I was hearing the heart. And so when it was something was said that prophesied that your heart is synchronized with God's heart. So when he told me that, that's what registered with my mind, that why would he tell me that if that prophecy wasn't true?
Accurate.
Right.
Yeah.
So I started hearing that, and I'm like, okay, what she's saying is not to hurt me. You know how hard that was, because of all of the things that I've actually heard, to know now that all of the stuff she was literally trying to say wasn't really trying to hurt me, but because she was angry and frustrated, irritated, it came out the wrong way. And so it built up a defense mechanism for myself not to want to hear what you had to say. And then there was a time period before that that it was like I wanted to try to destroy. I was trying to do the wrong thing. I was trying to do that because I felt like mentally and your words were destroying me.
So it's important to know that in this time frame, I was very hurt.
Right.
I was disappointed.
Very hurt.
I was frustrated. I didn't know from day to day what our situation was going to be. And so that was on top of my head. And I didn't have the husband I thought I was going to have. We ran into all kinds of things I never anticipated. When do you go into marriage anticipating it's not going to work? No one goes into marriage thinking people are going to be unfaithful. They don't go into marriage thinking you're not going to make it. They definitely don't go into marriage thinking you're not going to like the person. So I was utterly disappointed. So I had to deal with the fact that when I was trying to do things in our household, even though they were good things, I was doing them and my heart had not been dealt with.
Right.
So I did it out of the wrong heart,
that
from the wrong perspective. So my heart wasn't right. So even when there were things I could do, because of course I'm going to utilize my skills. I didn't hold back my skills. I didn't hold back the ability to do things for him, for my kids, but I did it. And I didn't deal with my heart posture. I did a post the other day that basically said a healed heart hears God's instructions differently. A healed heart hears God's instructions differently. God gave me the instructions about what to do, but I was so bitter and angry and frustrated, I couldn't respect him, even though I knew the word of God told me to. I didn't know how to honor him because I was frustrated. So all I wanted to do was never mind. Like that seems like the best thing to do. Never mind. I'll just not have this marriage. We just go to that because what Satan wants to do is divide. Satan is all about division because he understands the power of agreement. And if he can get us separated, like I already have trouble with her power, I already have trouble with his power. But when they put their power together, my Lord, that power of agreement multiplies what they can accomplish. It multiplies what they can bind and loose. It multiplies what they can cancel. So I started becoming the help me God wanted me to become, and I got healed. I pursued my own healing, and then I realized no matter what, the word says he's the head. It's not about who makes the money. It's about the headship and being in divine order. It's not about always, I got this job and you've got that job. It's about the headship. So I didn't see him as a head. He didn't know how to be a head. And it was this perfect storm for the enemy to open up and come in. And then one of us at least, so one person can sanctify. So in my pursuit of sanctifying both of us, my heart had to be right with God, and then I had to present him with consistency of the ability to trust me, the ability to speak to me, because what was Satan trying to do? Everything I had learned how to do in my life, every skill, every experience, God opened the door for him to be with someone who understands literally everything he missed growing up. The very thing that was crashing and burning was literally God's answer. Think about it. If someone is going to help you, what they have on the inside of them is exactly what you need. So all of the things I learned how to do, all of the skills I picked up in my life were for him. But if I didn't give it to him with honor, if I didn't give it to him knowing my position in the household, if I didn't give it to him with divine order in my thoughts, if I didn't give it to him and offer it to him in a way that was appropriate as a helpmeet, as number two, not number one, as not the lead of the house, as the person who is lower than the head, I had these things, but I wasn't able to offer it to him. Now I'm still the same person. I still have these gifts. I still have these callings. I still have these strengths, and I can offer it to him respectfully. And now we both benefit from it.
Amen. It makes you suitable.
It makes me suitable.
It makes you suitable for
Lord,
for every situation and every circumstance that I walk in. And he gives you exactly, he provides you with everything that I need for where we're going, for me to head and for me to lead my family into the destiny and purpose of our house. And so understanding your skill set, understanding what you have, God intends for you to use it to be able to help. To help,
not take over.
Help. It's not I do it because you mad or frustrated because it's not getting done.
Right.
It's a place where let me help you, and helping with honor, helping with respect, helping in that manner allows a man to be able to be a man and not be when you start talking to a person, a man in a certain way, it becomes like you're talking to a child. And you remember I used to say,
I'm not one of the children.
I'm not one of the children. You can stop talking. I don't care if I ain't doing nothing. But you're not going to talk to me like a kid. You're going to not talk to me like I'm a child, like some one of your students. This is not that.
Yep.
But because you get frustrated and because you get, we can get irritated and upset about situations, then we start, we look at the situation and we get mad. And so the person that's in the situation goes off, and starts speaking with dishonor, disrespect, harsh words, and you feel justified because of the situation, but it's not, because here's the scenario. That was a real true set. You would say, well, it was a setback in my finances. It was a setback in this. But which one is important more? Because God can actually do fix all of that, and he can fix the relationship. But when we do damage to it,
Yeah.
with our words and with our actions, it literally now building as a man. I built the wall, and it was like, no, you ain't gonna talk to me like that way. So when you ask me to talk, I don't want to talk.
Right.
When you ask me to do something, I'm not even hearing you, because you've talked to me like I'm some child, and so now I'm gonna respond like a child. I'm gonna pout. I'm not gonna do what you want me to do. I'm gonna ignore you. I'm gonna not want to be around you. So that's what you end up getting, and now you're more frustrated with that scenario than anything. But when you started talking to me in a kind, almost like in a kind voice,
Yeah.
it was, I can hear the kindness. I can hear the I want to help.
Compassion was huge.
Yeah, I mean, tell them Jesus deal with compassion.
Right. Compassion was huge for us, because I had to understand who I was connected to and what he was in need of. And once I understood, like, okay, God, you did this. You made me how I am, not to attack him. Because when I got my eyes opened to what was happening, Lord said, everything you are should be to help him.
Say that again.
Everything you are should be to help him. But Satan is a legalist, and he is a counterfeit. So he was saying, at the time that I got the revelation, everything you are is tormenting him. Your success is tormenting him. Your ability to do things and complete things, your ability to get through a degree, your ability to put things together, your ability to run a household. Satan was using it to attack him. He was using it to torment him. He said, you got to turn that thing around. You got to change your mindset. You got to change your tone. If you want to do things my way, you have to realize what Satan is doing. You got to know that Satan is using your personality, your accomplishments against him. So I couldn't change my accomplishments. I can't change who I am, but I could change how I presented myself. What I could do was change my heart. I could change the tone of my voice. I could change the timing in which I discussed things. I could change the way I worked with him, talked to him. So once I changed that, of course, in the beginning, it wasn't enough. Then it needed to be tested. It needed to be tried. And then the consistency. Like, now, was I doing it for him? No, I was doing it because God said so. If you do it to try to get your husband back, because that's what I have. Oh, I did that and he didn't come home. Or I did that and that's not the right heart. That can be a goal. Nothing wrong with you wanting your marriage stronger, wanting your husband and to be the man of God that you see him as. It's not a manipulating tool. If we use it as a manipulating tool, it's witchcraft, and it will not last. It'll do some things temporarily, but it won't last. So because my heart literally changed, I wasn't doing it. I work with people and they do some things. I did that and nothing happened. I'm like, wait a minute. You have a time frame on it? Because forgiveness, love, kindness, compassion, that's scripture. Once you do it, you don't stop doing it because of the other person's behavior. Forgiveness doesn't come because the other person does something right. Additionally, does not work and because the other person is loving you back. It's kingdom. It's biblical. So if you're doing it because God said it in his word, then you're consistent with it. Although it may be challenging, you don't stop doing it. You don't say, I did that and then he didn't do anything better, so I stopped. No, you can't stop being Christian.
It's a lifestyle.
It's who you are.
If you're not willing to accept it as a lifestyle of doing this, then it'll be temporary and it won't work. Yeah. At some point in some time, it'll start crumbling and you'll start seeing it because, like she said, it's a heart posture. if you don't get it into your heart and make it a part of your lifestyle,
Wow.
then you're bound to fall apart at some given point. Because there are times where I say, okay, I got this, I got this, I got this, and mentally say this, but it wasn't in the heart.
Right.
It wasn't in my heart yet to understand how to actually make this a lifestyle and walking this thing out. And you used to say that to me all the time, Jared, it's a lifestyle. It's not just something that you just want to do and you can say you want to do, but it has to be part of your lifestyle. You got to be willing to do this for the rest of your life. And that's what I have to tell myself. To learn, I'm a forever learner. Anything that I need to do, I don't look for a time limit on it. I'll do this for the rest of my life, God. If that's what I got to do, I'll just do it I will try to do this for the rest of my life. Now, do I get stuff right all the time? No. Do any of us get it right all the time? No.
No way.
But we actually have to strive for the perfection. We have to pursue it like none other. But it has to be a lifestyle of doing it, not just something temporary. Because if you're looking for something temporary, it's only going to be temporary.
Wow.
That's all you're going to get. And so if you're looking for something that's going to have some longevity, it has to be a lifestyle. A lifestyle. So you have to look at this situation and you have to look at your role. You have to look at who you are, and you have to see if I'm a wife or if I'm a helpmeet, how am I helping? If I'm a husband or a father, what is my role? How am I representing my family to God? And how am I because it says seek ye first the kingdom, not seek ye first that job, or not seek ye first the society or what society gonna get. If you seek ye first the kingdom,
right,
he's gonna do everything after that. You have to seek him. And so that was the place where I had to learn. I had to seek God first. That means I have to actually have a prayer life. That means I have to have an intimate relationship with him. I have to commune with him. And so there were times where he was like, I need you to get up early in the morning and commune with me, talk with me, walk with me. And so I was doing it and I was getting these things, but I was doing it, but I wasn't really ready to actually do it all the time. Right. I'm hearing God and I'm doing all these things. I'm like, no. By 12 o'clock, I'm doing my own thing. And so it wasn't part of my lifestyle, but God was like, if I can just keep getting you up, at some point in some time, you'll start understanding how this thing is going to work. I know you might fall. I know you might mess up. I know you might trip up, but as long as you get it in your mind that you're desiring me. And I gotta have to do this for a long period of time, God. This can't be a short fix, because I know how my short fixes are. I won't last long. If I say, oh, I got this, and I'm inconsistent. So I had to start praying for consistency. Mm-hmm. I had to start praying for doing things with honor and respect, doing things with integrity.
Right.
So these are the things that I had to build myself up to, because I wanted to be. How can I be ahead if I don't function in these places? And so I had to learn how to function in these places. I had to learn, have help to be able to see the things that I didn't see, because there are things that I didn't know growing up. I have to actually ask, did I do that right? Did I say that right? Is that something that that I should be doing? Is this the right look? Is this the right clothing? A lot of the stuff that I just didn't know. We talk about role reversal. And so I didn't know any of these things, but God created me a helpmeet. From the first day I met her, I didn't know all of this, but I knew I wanted her. I knew I needed her. I knew I needed her in my life for a reason. And now, where we are now, I see so much of what God saw then, why he allowed me to instantly fall in love with a person that was truly built and created for me. I thank her father all the time for pushing her and making her who is just for me, because I needed the discipline. I tell you that all the time. I say, I admire your discipline. I admire your drive. I admire that, because it was something that I just didn't have. And now being able to see it and her lay hands on me, her imparting into me, her doing all of these things to help me to be a better CEO, help me to be a better father, help me to be a better husband. That was the thing that the enemy did not want. So he wanted strife. He wanted the role reversal. He wanted to divide the home. He wanted to do everything he could possibly do for us not to get into an agreement and walk this thing out the way we are now. And God sees so much further than we see. We get stuck in a place where we only see where we are, but don't see where we're going. But God is now giving us an opportunity to have glimpses of what our destiny and purpose looks like. And because you don't see it now and you see something different, my wife says this, and I love it. I've been saying it to the men, when you pray it till you see it, when you see it, you protect it. Now, when you get an opportunity to get a glimpse of what God says your marriage is or what your spouse is, then you might want to pray that thing until you see it. You might want to pray. Listen, don't put no time limit on it. Don't say, well, how long I got to do this? I've been doing this for a decade. I've been doing this for this long. You got to do this for the rest of your life, because when you actually have it, you still got to pray for it. You still got to pray over it. You still got to be fervent about it.
So true. That
you don't fall back into the old place. Because it'll be easy to fall back into
what you're used to.
Because it was comfortable for you.
Lord.
It was easy for you. It was everything the enemy needed for you to stay in it. It was that. But God was trying to trouble the waters. God was trying to get you to understand that this thing is not the way I designed a marriage to be. That is not the divine order. Ooh. So I need it to be in the divine order that I've called. And I was like, I wondered how long it would take me. And God told me, he said, if you desire it and I get it, it's in your heart, and I see it's in your heart, I'll supernaturally accelerate you.
And did.
And he actually did it. I did not understand what supernatural acceleration was. I didn't understand that. I knew where I was, and I didn't have anything. I didn't know anything. It's stuff that I'm doing now. I know it's God.
Yeah,
I know it's God.
No doubt.
It's God giving me instructions. It's God giving me strategies. It's God giving me wisdom in doing stuff. But I pray for it. I've been praying for it.
And so the time frame that people look at, like, how did you deal with that when he was being mean? How did you deal with that when he was in and out of the house? How did you deal with that when he didn't appreciate it? How did you deal with that? But once the breakthrough occurred, and I've been saying to people, like, God is saying, hold on, breakthrough is near. People let go because it's hard before the breakthrough arrives. And because it was a lifestyle, there wasn't letting go. So for years, I didn't see results. For years, I didn't see the manifestation of the prayers. For years, I treated him with love and kindness for the most part, almost full time. Like, of course, I'm human and I made mistakes, but there were some years that I was treating him with godly love and affection and all of that. And he was coming and going, ignoring, doing whatever. And then I have to tell people, and then even when he made a decision to do the right thing, he still had to go through deliverance. Like he didn't walk through the door, oh, I'm repentive, I'm delivered, I don't have these struggles anymore. No, he walked back into my life needing all kinds of deliverance. And then after several years of deliverance, we had to rebuild a marriage. We're still rebuilding a marriage to make sure we never go back to the crazy marriage we had with the role reversal. Because I'm still a boss. I'm still somebody's supervisor. I'm always going to be a leader. I'm an apostle myself. So because of that, I am always going to be those things. I just have to learn how to not do those things in my home with my husband. So I didn't change who I am. I still lead. I lead a major group of people, and I lead a church. I lead a mentoring group. I lead businesses. I still have to understand how to humble myself at home. And because I'm submitted and strong, that's the whole concept of that. Because I understand being submitted and strong, I have to then have my own deliverance. I have to have my own things pulled down. God never took that away from me. He just told me to submit it to his will and his way. So we'll talk more about this. This is definitely something that's going to be part 2, maybe even a part 3, because these are the things we work on daily. Everything is not just about, oh, we want to get our husband. Oh, we got a husband. Oh, I want to get back together. Oh, we're back together. And now you got to learn how to live together. Now you got to learn how to help the people get delivered. Now you have to understand your roles. Now you have to operate in your ministry and your business and your gifts and still stay in your ministry roles. Now you have to make sure life is what God expected for it to be. And when he passed me, like God showed me, I was in my room and he literally passed me in the spirit and I felt it. I'm telling you, I felt it. And I was like, Lord, what was that? He said, oh, he just passed you and it was supernatural. He got in front of you, because how do you get above somebody or even equal to someone who's been doing life this way all along? It's supernatural. He knew how to take care of bills. He knew how to take care of his family. He knew how to cover me. He knew how to lead the family. Like all of a sudden, something I've been doing all along, bam. He knew how to do it, and now he's working to keep it. But the reality is something happened only in the spirit realm. Because how do you do something in a couple of years that it takes most people a lifetime to do? Because how do you catch up? And trust me, God was like, every time I asked, well, how could he possibly lead me? I've been a leader my whole life. How could he possibly cover me? I've been covering other people. God never even answered me. It was like he wasn't even thinking about that question. Like, don't even bother me with that question. Just do what you're supposed to do. And we started doing what we were supposed to do. And without our knowledge, like, whoop, and now there's no question about who's the head of this house. Now, and I'm not just submitting to him being the head of the house. He is the head of the house. Like for a while, I had to intentionally do stuff because he wasn't ready to take on certain things. Now, that's not even a question. That's not even something to talk about, because he is the head of the house and he knows how to operate as the head of the house. So we'll talk more about it. We've got lots and lots of Fridays and Saturdays to be with you. Next week, we'll be in California. If you're watching this live, we'll be in Burbank, California. Come on. Friday night is free and open to the public. Go to our website to see and register. Get some teaching, some training. If you register, you can come to some training on Saturday as well. We'll be there on Sunday for our Empire Ministries International service. So lots of stuff, information on our website. Please come see us when we're in town, because then people start complaining. Come near me. When we get near you, you got to make that effort. You got to make that effort. And then, of course, as you can see, we got our conference. It's early bird special, the month of August 2023. Month of August for our conference. You get special pricing. You want to sign up early. You want to get your room, because almost all of the rooms connected to the conference are reserved already. You want to start making provision to get to our conference. Our conference is called Divine Order, because a lot of people do not know how to balance marriage, ministry, and marketplace, your job, your career, your gifts, and still be able to balance and be who God has called you to be as a helpmeet or as a priest, prophet, and king. How do you make it work together? How do you pull it all together? So get your tickets, get your registration complete, because we want you to be there in Atlanta, Georgia, October 27th through the 29th. Rhonda says she's got her tickets. Come on. You got to get there. Come on. Our coach, Ambassador Sophia Ruffin, and her husband, Tommy Wilson, will be there. That's what's going to be so amazing. Apostle Melvin Thompson will be there. Our pastor, Apostle Samuel Giles, will be there. I'm talking about, and this Divine Order is going to be so awesome because all of them are married. Their spouses will be there. When I tell you God's going to be doing some shifting, God's going to be doing some changing. You do not have to be married to attend. If you're not married and you know you want to pray about being married, if you're separated, or even if your spouse just isn't ready to come to something like that, you come and sanctify the household. You come and bring it back. Divine order. You bring divine order back and the impartation for it. Man, it changed my whole life. And not only did it change my whole life, it changed my husband's life. And then ultimately it changed our life, our children's lives, lives of so many other people. I got in divine order, and it affected my entire family. Now it's affecting so many people all over the world. So get to Atlanta. Don't box God in. We've got people coming from 5 continents to be there. Well, my hand, yes. Okay, fine.
There you go. You got 10. He said 5.
5 continents.
You got 10
South America, Australia, Africa, North America, and Europe. We literally have mentees in 5 continents, and we have some that will be at the conference. So those of you don't box God in. Don't box God in. There may be some, can't ever be 10 because there's only 7 continents, but don't box God in. Get there, get there, get there, get there. We want you there. So some people were there last year. Go on the website and look at some of the clips from last year. You'll be able to feel the anointing. You'll be able to feel the excitement. You'll be able to feel that. I mean, last year we had it, and this year it's just going to be, my Lord, level to level. So we're excited that this year we did an early bird special. We didn't do that last year, but we were prepared a little earlier. So we did an early bird special. Get your tickets now. Don't miss it, because at the end of the month, it goes to regular price, because we do have to pay for a whole, conference hall and all kinds of speakers and all kinds of things, but it's worth it for what God is building and what God is doing in the ministry. So be there. Be in the room. It's going to be great. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be absolutely amazing. We want to see you there. We ready for the jingle? I think we're ready. Next Friday, I just thought of it. We might open up online to our Friday night service. We might. So put your notifications on. Instead of Friday night by fire, do a Friday night service. We might, because it's the last boot camp. Something to think about. Put your notifications on. You never know. But it'll be 7 o'clock. Ooh, it'll be 10 o'clock Eastern. If we do. So have your notifications on. Tell it to California.
Oh, sorry.
For my late night people.
Yeah, there you go.
And for my late night people, I might get on paparazzi tonight, because I can't do it tomorrow.
Jingles.
Ready for the jingle?
Yeah.
Y'all want to see? Y'all, but you have to go to Facebook. You got to go to Jim Gems on Facebook, and I always forget that some people don't realize I'm a director with paparazzi, and all the pieces are $5. So they were like, how much is the piece? $5. How much is it? $5. Everything is $5. But you got to be on Jim Jim's Facebook page. I'm about to go on Jim Jim's Facebook page. We're about to hang out for a little while. So Facebook, it's Jim Gems. It's $5 bling. We have a really good time. You don't want to miss it. Tell them, Nikki, it's $5 bling. And I'm
$5 bling.
I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready to get it on tonight.
And you look good in your $5.
Thank you, baby.
Let's sing this jingle.
Ready?
Marriage works. Oh yeah. If you work it. Say it again. Marriage works. If you work it. Marriage works. If you work it. Marriage works. If you work it. Marriage works 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 if you work it. Hey, all the way to the bank. Bank. Hey, to the bank. Hey. Yeah, I can't say it earlier in the beginning. So I gotta get my hair in.
Oh, Lord.
Hey, I thought somebody said something. Marriage works if you work it. Say it again. Marriage works if you work it.
But you gotta put in
the work.
the work.
It says marriage works.
Yo.
If that big old word. If you work it.
So
yeah, you worry about him.
Don't
do
that. Don't blame your spouse.
It's about you. If you
you gotta work it. You gotta work it.
If you work it.
If you
work it. You
work it. I'm just saying.
A
sanctified wife can sanctify a husband, and a sanctified husband can sanctify a wife. So all God needs is you.
You.
That's all God needs is you. That's all God needs is all of you.
If you.
I'm just saying.
We're just saying. If you work it, you gotta work it.
You gotta work it.
If you
gotta work it.
You. Is that a song?
Yes, silly.
It is?
Yes, it's a whole crazy song.
Oh.
You don't know
my kids used to do it
because you don't even understand it. It's Soldier Boy.
How you know who it is?
I worked at a school.
Oh.
Superman. Yeah.
Oh.
You see, Sharon knows because she works at a school. When you work at a school, you know all that stuff. you, and that's what they do too. That's the dance.
Oh.
So you've seen it. It hit you, but you didn't realize.
My kids used to do it.
Yes,
exactly. Do all of the dancing in the morning.
Exactly. Okay. Anyway, so now that you got that,
yeah.
I know.
Exactly, Becca. Exactly. You heard me? I'm like, how you know that? How you know what it is?
And now here's the funny part. If you walked by me and said, hi, how you doing? And sat down and had a conversation, I wouldn't have any idea who he is. I just know the concept that he has the Superman, Soldier Boy, and then they. But to be honest, you're the one who did it. So you knew about it without knowing about it. That goes to show how powerful music is.
I know that.
Isn't that weird?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. All right, everyone. It was so nice having you all on. Even though it's Saturday. Lord have mercy, it's Saturday.
It is.
It's Saturday. All right. So we got to go.
Are you doing Friday night? I mean,
Saturday paparazzi.
Jim.
Who's coming on?
Because you already told the people you're going.
Who's coming on? If I do Jim Jims, I do a live.
The people that go on Jim Jims, that got a notification, they're going to be on. So, I mean.
They come on it no matter what day I come on. But I need to know.
I might come on.
I don't think I have any more of these, but isn't that pretty? Let me show you how pretty this is. Wait, let me show you. You're very welcome. Good to see y'all. Look at this. Wait, let me show you how pretty that is. It's a heart. Isn't that pretty?
$5.
I love it.
$5.
All the jewelry I wear is paparazzi.
$5.
If it's on me, it's paparazzi.
$5.
Gotta love the $5 bling. Isn't that cute? It's so pretty. I love it. You love it? Put a heart up. You know you love it. It's called Oil Spill. That's what it's called. It's called oil spill. And this is called gunmetal.
No spilling oil.
No spilling oil. No spilling oil.
Yes, that.
It's oil spill, and it's by Paparazzi $5 Bling.
$5.
$5
bling bling.
$5, $5 bling bling. Now I gotta. You're so silly.
It's time to go.
Now we got jingles for my paparazzi too.
No. Because you already have one for that.
Free shipping, but that's only for if someone gets free shipping. That's not for the Jim Jams.
Oh.
I didn't have a
Free shipping. Free shipping.
Jim free shipping. If you order 4 pieces on the same line, you get free shipping. And we haven't sang that song since you left us.
Oh.
See that?
I should bring it back. You was in there doing. I heard you doing it one time. Long about a year ago.
Right.
Girl, you need to bring. You don't do the gym. You don't do the free shipping. Oh, but you don't even do the free shipping no more.
No, I don't.
That's part of Jim Jim's. Free shipping. Free shipping. Jim free shipping.
Mm-hmm. I don't do it anymore.
That's part of it.
I'm sorry.
$5. $5 bling bling.
That don't sound good.
$5. $5 bling bling.
I'm just saying. Just not saying.
Bling bling $5. Bling bling $5.
All right. Those are our bloopers for the day. All right. And by the way, thank you all who were so loving and gave me all kinds of information about how to get Uber Eats. I got all kinds of messages.
You did?
You can call Uber Eats. You can do.
I told you.
No, but it takes forever, and it's not automatic, and it also depends on the I forgot the information. It also depends on the area, like who's picking up. But you can't do it with like Walmart. You have to do like
Kroger's.
No, you have to do like a racetrack.
No, call racetrack.
No, I'm just saying they're just different people.
Racetrack, Quick Trip.
Yeah, you gotta, but it could be forever, and then your stuff might be melted. But they don't guarantee nothing, because the people will pick up this, that, and the other, and then come around and it can be whatever. But a whole bunch of people messaged about how to get me ice cream in the middle of the night. Y'all so sweet.
I was trying.
But he was gonna go get it, and I got upstairs, and God said, "Eat some watermelon and cucumbers." I was like, "Dang, watermelon and cucumbers? Jesus, that is not butter pecan ice cream. It's watermelon and cucumbers." He said, "Have some watermelon and cucumbers. You got them all cut up, put them together. You'll love it." And it was so good, like because the cucumbers
it's so healthy.
The cucumbers were dipped in like a vinaigrette all day. I know that sounds crazy. And then the watermelon was super sweet. And I put that thing together, and it was sort of like a sweet and a tangy. Oh my Lord, it was so good.
Okay, I'm glad you.
And I don't have no more.
It's watermelon in there.
It's watermelon by 100 cucumbers. But it was so good.
I have none, so I can't.
When I tell you it was good, it was good. It was so good, like a sweet and a sour. It was doing some things. It was beautiful. Yeah. So and right now, look, Shalonda. So I have my cucumber. Oh, you guys can't read it. Watermelon cucumber mint tea. That flavor is supposed to go together. They're supposed to go together. And it's one of my favorites. Putting them together.
Nice.
What you mean?
Watermelon cucumber.
They go together.
Okay.
I just happen to have. I didn't think about it till right now. But
Okay.
that's what you have.
I'm glad you like it.
I do. So I was behaving myself.
Okay.
Not that ice cream is bad, just for me that time. I was loving it. Looking for this everywhere yesterday. Thought you missed it. We weren't on yesterday. To be honest, we both were a little like, So we decided to do today. And here we are.
Jim Jim's presents Fiery Topics.
And marriage.
Fiery Topics by fire.
Oh, Fiery Topics by fire. Catch the replay. Go to our website right now and register for the conference. Literally. There's 55 of you on. I need you guys to go to the website and go register so you can be in the building.
I think we're going to do Jim. We're going to sing the jingle. And then I'm going to do. And Jim presents Fiery Topics by fire.
And you had to do that. You have to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
By the fire.
By the fire.
Yeah.
Okay.
Podcast.
Podcast.
The podcast is Marriage Works If You Working. Marriage Works If You Working. The podcast represents. It has to be Marriage Works If You Working. You're going to do the podcast.
Okay.
There you go. Tiffany said, go register now. That's right, Tiffany. Go register for the conference. Get there. Do not miss it.
Okay.
You think last year was a bit? My goodness.
God.
It's going to be amazing.
Fire.
Get here. Bring a friend. Get someone from your church, someone from your job. Let's go. Hiya. Boom. Oh, that's funny. Oh, you got two. That's weird. Oh, they put it on both places.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool, Benton.
Yeah.
I didn't know we could do that.
Well, now you know.
Can we put more messages? I put messages before, but it didn't seem like it went to both places.
Well, now you see that they can.
That's amazing.
Now you see you can.
That's amazing.
Glory. Okay.
You'll be there in spirit, Mama.
Amen.
All right. We love you guys. Good night.